One-foot-flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. How is everybody doing right now? I'm doing okay. Sales are steady at about the level they've been since I started the channel. Now, before I started this channel, I averaged $12,000 a month in sales pretty much every month. After I started the channel, that dropped to $10,000 immediately, and it's basically stayed there. That is the time that I am putting into YouTube. So, is it worth it to have a YouTube channel? Financially at my level? No, not at all. Make $150 a month on YouTube and lose $2,000 a month in sales for the privilege of doing so. So overall, I'm probably in the red about $700 to $800 a month because of my YouTube channel. But that is what it is. I wanted to have a YouTube channel, so that's how it is. And right now I'm starting to work on having a channel membership. And what the channel membership is basically going to do is channel members will get access to uncut videos. Basically everything I record will go onto the channel membership, whether it gets posted on YouTube or not, including the, my full garage sale videos without anything cut, full things I record, decide not to post for whatever reason, because sometimes I've got some hot takes and some unpopular opinions. All of those will hit the channel memberships, even if they never get posted to regular YouTube. And members can get a shout out of however they want once a month, whether you want me to mention your store, your Instagram, whatever it is, members will get that. I want to build up a lot of content behind the wall before I actually open it, but I would like to judge interest, so if you have any interest in that, do let me know in the comments. All right, before we get into the topic, let's do a couple of sales. I sold a brick of 200 rare and interesting Magic the Gathering cards, $73 value, $19.66. This was a mistake. I used my scanning software. I scanned those 200 cards and got the $73 retail value, put the full inventory in the listing, and had to mark it down multiple times to sell it. And at this point, I'm probably actually going to get less for the cards than if I had just turned them into the game store for trade-in. Depending on the store you get 7 to 10 cents for those rares and foils anyway, and there's 200 of them, 1966. That's about a break even there, and I put in all those times scanning that. Never going to do that again. Although I did, you'll hear that story a few more times though, because I've got about 15 more of those lots to sell eventually. West Point collector spoon. I bought like 40 collector spoons for $2 a while back. They've slowly been selling $2.18. I'll make a little bit on the shipping on this. That is what it is. I'm avoiding things like that now. Now let's get into our topic. eBay cannot make customers purchase your items. If you have bad items, overpriced items, things people don't want, there's nothing that eBay can do to make people buy those items. Or even if they're popular items, if they're poorly priced, eBay can't make people buy them. If 100 of these barcode scanners sell per day at $13 and yours is $20, yours will never sell. Nothing eBay can do to make that item sell. I don't even know if promoted listings would make that item sell. It just can't happen. Calling customer service isn't going to make your item sell. It doesn't work that way. It is a marketplace that is mostly driven by price above all else, and then by just the ability to find the items. But the price is number one. I sold this One Ring role-playing game, Lore Master Screen and Town Sourcebook. This is a Middle-earth role-playing game, but it is not Middle-earth role-playing game. It is much newer and much less popular. This sold for $20, while I think about a month ago, I sold the screen for the real Middle-earth role-playing game, and that sold for over $100. Huge price difference there. I sold a craft gourd, my first one in a month. $14.99 plus shipping. And finally, from the big train haul, I actually sold my first train car. The Bachmann's Big Haulers Reefer Car, Union Pacific. This sold for $40. Somebody else, I believe, was trying to sell this same car for $70, but I looked at TerraPeak and saw the $40 range is where actually tended to move 35 to 40, so I put mine up at 40, and it sold in 2 days. All right. Sometimes you'll hear people say that every time eBay has an update that their sales go into the toilet. Now let's think about that in reality. Does that actually make sense? Do you think eBay's website sales drop by 50% every time they update something in the software that literally has basically nothing to do with the purchasing side of things? Does that make sense? And for that matter, they're having updates constantly. eBay is updating something every day. Sure, they've got big ones they announce here and there, but there's always updates. This is just people noticing one thing and noticing an effect and attributing a cause to it. Correlation does not equal causation. Just because I ate an egg sandwich this morning and fell down the steps this afternoon does not mean that the egg sandwich made me fall down the steps. I fell down the steps because I was clumsy, not because I ate an egg sandwich. Matter of fact, I eat an egg sandwich every day. I don't fall down the steps every day. eBay has an update every day. Your eBay sales, however, do not cut in half every day. I sold this wooden stamp set. Antique doilies, $4.99. All my stamps are in the profit now, but I don't really plan on ever getting any more of them. I have overall not been happy with my experience at wooden stamps. Sold this Queen Jazz vinyl, $6.29. Ex-library, so that definitely cut the price down. Although I believe my videos on the record listings do help bring those prices back up a little bit, because I do not price my records at the very bottom of the market. I actually price my records usually about $2 over what sold comps are at for about the same condition, because I have that video. And quite a few of them do sell at that price because of that video. And records are also really weird about sold prices. They are their own entity that I am not an expert at yet at all. I sold this Hot Tools Professional Soft Bonnet Hairdryer. New open box, $19.99. Now this is new open box, but I believe this goes all the way back to the 90s. I got this in a house pick a little while back. The business environment on eBay and everywhere else changes constantly, and you've got to be able to change with it. If eBay changes how something works, you probably need to change what you're doing to account for it. Whether it's charging final value fees on shipping, which some people are still complaining about 13 years later, or ad fees now being sticky across multiple listings, that caused me to severely reduce the amount of ads that I was running just because of that. Whatever the environment is, it's going to change constantly, and you have to change with it. Just because you used to be able to sell all of your Beanie Babies for $24.99 doesn't mean that you can do that today. Everything is going to change, including the value of this Tupperware 8-cup measuring cup, which today was $11.99. Tomorrow might be $10.99. 3 months from now, that thing might be worth $19.99. My price today, not going to make a big difference on what I would sell that item for 2 years from now. 2 years from now, I'm going to look up the comps then and base my prices on what's going on then. Three Dog Night. It ain't easy, although it was easy to sell this record. Got about 2 minutes into it. Sold for $5.99 plus shipping. And I sold a lot of 10 sealed packs of 1994 Fleer Ultra X-Men Premium Edition. $67.99. I have a quarter into each one of these packs. I have a quarter into every sealed pack of cards I own outside of gaming cards. I have a quarter into them because I bought overstock from a retailer at a quarter per pack some years ago. And honestly, I had bought them just for fun. Some years ago, we used to open these things left and right just for fun. We'd kind of play, we'd open, random packs and see who had the best cards. And we kind of stopped doing that, so I started selling them. And I was kind of amazed at the value that those cards were currently at. which brings me to my next point. What were good prices last week might not be good prices this week. You been selling any Funko Pops lately? The prices across the board of those things have been dropping for months. And that can be the case for anything. You've got to keep up with your prices or have some. If you've got a really small store, you can probably just research your prices every once in a while. If you've got a big store, you need to have some sort of markdown schedule, or your prices could go bad and never recover. Or they could go bad and recover 12 years later. But do you want that item sitting on your shelf for 12 years because you were 14% over market on it? And sure, you could say, oh, they could have sent an offer, but why are they going to scroll halfway down the page to send an offer to the person halfway down the page when there are 13 people who have a better price to begin with? They're going to send their offers to those people, and one of those people is going to sell to it. They're not going to scroll halfway down the page and send you an offer. Not going to happen. Unless you've really got a following and they're only looking through your store and they're not actually looking for that specific item, yeah, then you might get an offer on that. And you see that a lot on other YouTubers, on other YouTubers' channels. You'll see that. I sold this Call of Duty soldier, $4.99. I don't remember where I got him from at all. Sold 4 packs of Fleer, Skybox, Marvel Vision, and Boss cards, $9.99. Still about the MSRP on those. Paula Abdul, Forever Your Girl, 1988. Opposites Attract, $17.99. I have found records that came out after people kind of stopped buying records tend to be more valuable than those 70s records or early 80s records when everybody still had a record player. Record players were on their way out and CD players were on their way in 88. And a lot of people were in cassette tapes, I think, were huge at the time. I mostly was all into cassette tapes when I was young, until I got a CD player later. Now, what were good items last week might not be good items this week. Is that all Funko Pop store doing as good today as it was last year, the same time? Probably not. Dropping in popularity. Am I selling as many craft gourds right now in the summer as I was in the fall and the winter? No. This is the first craft gourd I sold in a month. While I was selling 8 to 10 a week during the fall, winter, and early spring. Things could be seasonal or fads come and go. So you've got to keep up with that as well. Your store might possibly not have any good items in it left. I don't know. I'm not looking at your store right now. Maybe that's somebody else's store I'm talking about. That might not be you. You might have 100% good items. But either way, it's something worth looking at. What else did I sell? It's a bat. Sold this DeMarini Voodoo bat, $39.99. Oh, no, $29.99. Still just as awesome. Either way, it's still $1 into 30. I've been doing really good with bats. Not so much with golf clubs. Bats show up here left and right for $1 or $2. When I see golf clubs out, I've only bought golf clubs once because I've only seen good golf clubs out with good prices on them one time. But I see bats every time I go out. Sold a lot of 7 DC 1993 trading cards, $6.75. Apparently the Marvel ones are much more valuable. I sold this Hooters Nervous Night album for $4.99. Now, guessing prices and pricing up has never worked as a long-term eBay strategy. You know what that leads to? It leads to an ever-increasing store size full of overpriced items and a ridiculously long sell-through rate. I was reading the eBay forums earlier today, and there was somebody complaining that he was getting messages telling him his items were overpriced, and he was getting these messages from various people. And he was calling eBay customer service to complain about it and everything else. And I looked at the man's store, I'm going to assume he's a man just based on the items I had. I could be wrong. I think the username was kind of male too. But I looked at his store, and his store had a 7.5-year sell-through rate. And I only had to look at 2 items to see that his prices were completely out of whack with reality. And instead of, frankly, getting that information, the sort of rude advice that he was given unasked to maybe better his business, he's more concerned with calling eBay customer support and trying to do something about these people who are probably offering genuine advice to him. Because in the forums, there were a whole lot of people who were saying, oh yeah, they're trying to scam you or get your items away from you. No, they're not. They're trying to tell him that he's got an action figure with $375 on it and all the recent sold comps are $25 is not trying to steal anything from that person. That's trying to just let that person know that, hey, you've got something completely wrong there. And I generally don't waste my time giving people unwanted advice anymore, at least not person to person. I'm doing it here on YouTube. I'm sure this advice is unwanted to many of my viewers right now. But something that was wanted was this Sound and Power 7000 model train controller with sound. It does a whole bunch of cool stuff. This sold for $99.99. This started picking up watchers the minute I listed it, and I sent out a lot of 10% offers, and it eventually sold at my full price. And finally, I also sold $27 worth of Warhammer bit slots that I cannot find. One day I made about 15 lots of little various plastic Warhammer pieces left over from models. I made 10 or 20 of those lots, listed them all, made a box called bits, put them in the box, and today 3 of them sold, and I can't find the box. So I'm going to waste a bunch of time looking for that. And that's why a SKU system is important, because I've got a SKU system and I still lose stuff. Imagine looking for that stuff if I didn't even have a SKU system. All right, I think I've gone on along for enough. That's enough for today. Please like, dislike, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the people living in your grandparents' basement. They need to know about this channel, because I'm getting close to 4,000. I'm going to do a giveaway of some sort at 4,000. Matter of fact, I'll do a giveaway right now. Sort of. I've got a semi-vintage Marines bumper sticker here. I will give this to the next person who buys anything on eBay from me and asks for it. I'll just put it in their order. Although if you order a trading card, I am going to fold it in half and put it in the envelope that way. So just ask for that. And if you're the first person to buy something from me on eBay, I'll give it to you. All right. Thanks. See you soon.